Peggy 16.
Hi everyone, this is Bryan Intihar from Insomniac Games, and I'm here in beautiful New York City to show you some of my favorite places, not only in the real New York City, but also in the game.
Coming through.
Looking good, Spidey!
Hello, New York! New suit, same old me.
We wanted to create a New York City that felt believable, felt real, and a lot of that also includes taking some of the most iconic landmarks in the city, such as the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and putting those in the game, putting in the locations that people will be familiar with. So if they come to the city, they know, oh, the Chrysler Building roughly here, the Empire State Building is roughly there. But from a gameplay standpoint, those buildings are so tall that when you're Spider-Man, the first thing you want to do is find those buildings, go on top of them, and then dive off and use your web. So much of New York City is, each district, each bureau feels very different and distinct, and we wanted, have all areas of the city represented. And Chinatown just felt like, from the architecture to the signage to the storefronts, it felt very iconic. What better place to kind of start the game off than there? That's where obviously the Feast Shelter is. It's one of the main spots in the game that you go visit. May works there. Martin Lee obviously started the Feast Shelter, so it just made a lot of sense that that would be one of the first areas that you'd really go out and explore. So I think when you think of New York City, obviously you have an amazing architecture, you have all these different neighborhoods, but the heartbeat of the city really is its people. And we wanted to have a city that felt alive, living, breathing, and that had a relationship with Spider-Man. And the great thing is that Spider-Man can actually interact with them. He can give them high fives, he can take selfies with them. And the great thing is they'll even point out things that you can do in the world. When you think of a Spider-Man game, you think of New York City, you think of all the tall buildings him swinging through, but there's a very big park known as Central Park in the city. It's very iconic. People know about it, and it's probably not the easiest place to swing around in, but we also wanted to explore it, see what we could come up with. So there are missions and quests and activities that actually take place specifically in Central Park that will definitely challenge your traversal skills, and there's some really fun stories that happen within that space. So when it came to graffiti, obviously that's another major characteristic of the city. It's a form of expression, a form of art, and not only did we consult actual, real graffiti artists from New York City, whether we were doing it right, because we wanted to be authentic to it. We took that experience and we even had some of our own team members creating different types of graffiti, some of which is very much inspired by Marvel characters and lore, and J. Jonah Jameson looking like a baby. Obviously, one of our major goals was to create a believable, realistic-looking New York City, but also we wanted to give it a Marvel feel. We wanted it to be a Marvel New York City, so we were able to put a bunch of different iconic Marvel landmarks in the game, whether it's Avengers Tower, the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Wakandan Embassy, and so many more that if you do look around, you're going to see a lot of fun Marvel Easter eggs. So when you think of New York City, Times Square is definitely one of the first spots you think about. Everybody wants to go there when they're first there. It's such an electric, energetic spot in the city, and whether it's all the billboards and the people and the the theater, and it just is one of those things that just really helps and capture what New York City is all about. And what's great is that you see it at various times of the game. Literally the first mission in the game takes you through Times Square and you're actually fighting within Times Square. And as the game goes on, you can kind of see how Times Square evolves, and you'll see it at different times of day, and you'll see it at different points in the story. So the Times Square that you see at the very beginning of the game will be very different from the one you see at the end. With games today, everybody's looking for believable, realistic worlds that are fun to explore, and when it came to someone like Times Square, you want those neon lights, you want those big, energetic billboards, you want to feel like, almost when you're above it, it almost feels blinding because it feels like a big light source, like it almost is like, what's down there, I want to go explore it. So it's just really cool to see it from Spider-Man's perspective.
For the players.